So, welcome everyone to day 5 of the 5 Days to Flourish Challenge. I'm your host, Emily Bauman, the copywriting queen and wordsmith mermaid. It is such a pleasure to have our final guest here, Christina Victoria. Pew, pew, pew,
pew. Hi.
Today on our agenda, we have an amazing opportunity to pick Christina's brain for how to get global press features, right? She's going to guide us through this checklist. And the idea is that when you have all these pieces of the checklist in your business, whether it's a personal brand, whether it's a product-based business, or a little bit of both, you're going to be ready to use her special sauce system to get global press features. Christina, thank you for being here.
So much. I'm really excited. I'm so excited to share all my knowledge so everyone here can succeed and get into their magazines of their dreams, because I did. I got into Vogue, and that was a big milestone for me, coming from somebody who didn't even have to pay anything, right? So the whole thing was a free publicity, and that's what I want to, encourage everyone to do, to get free publicity without paying thousands of euros to get on like the feature of any dream magazine. So, but before that, it's just, I want to say it's so important to have a checklist. Indeed, there are certain criteria you need to pass that will help you to have a better chance to get in and get into the magazine. So just a little background about myself. I've been in luxury pretty much a decade, luxury industry. And in 2020, I started my own brand, which is called Archer Adams. It's a luxury umbrella brand. So I'll just share screen and show you what I'm talking about.
Yes, I'll give you permission right now. There you go, baby.
And, I was a startup. So let me just get into my profile. Perfect. So we want to share this. Lovely. So can everybody let me know when they see my screen so I can get in here? So this is my brand. It's Archer Adams. It's a luxury umbrella brand, right? So it's supposed to, it's quite aesthetic. It's luxurious. So it is perfect for somebody like Vogue or Glamour, but you have to have ins and outs and how to get their attention. They're getting like thousands of emails, fashion editors. So it's not that easy, just to let you know, but it is possible. Even as a startup, I've started, I've continued with this company since 2020. So I just want to say it is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just a little proof. I did get into Vogue, 10 rainy day accessories, and I've been featured amongst with Prada and Jimmy Choo and Moncler, and there's myself, So without further ado, I would just love to go through the reasons why PR matters. Why should you care, first of all? And the reason is, the results with PR, with press releases and press distribution, first of all, you get money, you get increased sales. People, you get, your brand out there. There, magazines like Vogue and GQ, they have thousands of subscribers and fans. So your brand gets to be visible. Then you get to also build your own relationship with media. If you do it yourself, if you learn how to do it yourself and you don't give this like control over to media agencies. And first of all, media agencies are so expensive. They could be like charging you like 10,000 just to get you the access to their list, and they won't even share the list with you. They'll keep it to themselves. So you get to build relationships with editors and stuff, and that's incredible. I mean, just now I've pitched to Elle magazines, and the editor of Elle magazine in Singapore replied. So you get direct.
So just to clarify, when we work with media agencies, they keep the list of contacts, the editors, the fashion stylists, and they're the intermediary. So you're paying lots of money and you don't have the relationships directly, right? Whereas what we're talking about here is being in direct contact with the people inside the halls of power of global media. And you've done that, and we're going to replicate it. Okay, yes, I follow. Thank you.
And then you have your brand visibility, which then snowballs into brand credibility. So for example, if you want to reach even more magazines, they'll be like, oh, she's been in Vogue, she's been there, so she must be worth it, right? And then when you're selling your product or yourself as a, coach, when you say I've been featured in Forbes, that gives you so much power. Just that kind of halo effect of control and people being like, oh, she must be so legit, she's been in Forbes, right? So it gives you that verification tick, like, that Instagram verification tick. It's kind of like one like that as well. So of course it gives you network opportunities. You can get attention of journalists, other influencers, other probably like professionals in the industry that could potentially be your business partners, and also your stockists or whoever. So there's a lot of networking opportunities, and of course improved SEO ranking, so search engine optimization. So when you're linked to a high-end, high credibility magazine, hello, welcome. When you're linked to high-end, your credibility of your website also gets higher. So your ranking gets improved with that. So those are massive benefits for you as a small business owner, or, whoever is just starting out. So, but like I said, before that, there's a checklist that I would strongly suggest to do before reaching out, because the competition is fierce, especially if you want to get in for free. So without further ado, I'm just going to go right in there and
or if I can offer a little up level of, because we can feel like the barriers to entry are impossible sometimes, right? We have this story like, I'm just a small little brand, and who am I to approach Vogue? And on the flip side, it's like, maybe you're what Vogue is looking for. Maybe you're what Women's Health is looking for. And if you know how to tell your story, and you have the assets that we're going to talk about, then you are in fact ready. So there's this really interesting balance between your imposter syndrome or not feeling ready, and then knowing that these big time main press circuits are waiting for you to interject your energy and your juice and your information and all of that into their audience. And so we get to recalibrate this kind of like shrinking, and then this kind of like, I'm ready. It's like, maybe you're not. And so in this space, we're developing a beautiful equilibrium where Christina is giving us this reality check, like, hey, you might actually be ready. And then Emily's here like, hey, let's get your story crafted in a way that it's irresistible to the biggest global marketplace of press in the world. Like, whatever you want, we can do it if we meet these criteria. So just want to say that, because I acknowledge the idea of being in Vogue. Sometimes it doesn't even feel like we're going to be ready for another 5-10 years. You might already be ready. So let's go. Give us a checklist, Christina.
So ladies, the first thing, your brand impression is photography, right? So we're talking about high quality photography. Can I just ask you girls, let me just see here if I can pull up. I'd love to know how many of you are, if you can just raise your hand or write a message, how many of you want to start a product business, versus how many of you are coaches, like doing B2B versus B2C? I'd love to know. Emily, if you can read out, because I'm not sure how to access the chat anymore.
Sure. Yeah, I've got you. So
Okay,
Juliana says that she's a coach. Elizabeth is a service-based psychotherapist and coach. So it's going to be amazing.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I'll just bring that down. Lovely. So, because first of all, high quality photography. First of all, why? It's your kind of you're the face of your brand. So as a coach, right? So your imagery is what you're going to be selling, so they understand what's going on. And I would strongly suggest no iPhone pictures. You don't want to go cheap here. You want to get a proper photographer. You need to get into a proper place, proper outfit, good visibility, high quality, high res, and good lighting. You can do, first of all, your headshots photography, which you can reuse then for press kits. You can reuse them for your, website. You can do events photography. So if you're ever, doing you're a guest speaker, or you're hosting an event with loads of other clients, get the photographer to capture that for you, because this will really enhance the whole pitching. And then also, of course, the candid photography, whatever it is, you can, do travel photography, your lifestyle, and so on. So, and of course for product, it would be kind of a product photography like this, you know, you don't want something with kind of weird background. So as you see here, everything is quite standard of how we get featured. So it's the same that would be with yourself as a face, as a brand. So after photography, we're going into website. So, you know, having a gorgeous website and something that's completely done and ready to go is extremely important, because you need to get into a mindset of the editor, right? So they're getting 1,000 emails. So if the website loads slowly, or the images are low quality, or your, you know, font is all over the place and something is not working, they're not going to be bothered, because you're like, this person needs to work on their website next. So it's so important to, you know, establish your credibility from the start. So this is your first impression. A third one is, of course, it seems like very obvious, but it's so important to have a solid about page that's quite engaging. You know, for product brand, it would be kind of a story about the brand, how it came. For service, your solid about page is you. So the history, maybe a little bit even the cute things like this or that. What are you about? What do you hate? You know, so let the kind of the person understand your personality and who's behind and what are you doing. You know, this helps establish a relationship with the person, because they'll put the name to the face and they'll remember you. So a solid about page is really important and shouldn't be looked over. It's pretty important. Next thing is, it kind of ties up with a website, but this is, we're talking about flawless customer journey. So what do I mean by flawless customer journey? So when somebody gets onto your website, so we're going to think from client and editor's magazine point of view. The editor, what they're looking for, that is when they're going to advertise your services, are their magazine clients, their subscribers, going to find what they need immediately, right? Because they don't want to look like fools recommending you when something is kind of weirdly placed on the website. So the customer journey is just so important, because that will lead to sales. You know, is your CTA link broken? Can I get into discovery call, for example? A lot of times I also notice people have, you click into something and it's error 404, you know, so those things put off magazine editors from, you know, reaching out to you, even though everything looks great, if the customer journey is not good. Also, I don't know if anybody has ever like seen agencies, those really creative agencies. When you go, they're so creative that you don't know where to start, or like there's too much tech stuff and you're like, where do I start to book? So you kind of want it flawless and intuitive is the right word for that.
Love it. And just if anyone has any questions, please feel free to chime in. We are so here for your instant in the moment feedback, and I will just read the questions out loud. We have a lot of coaches and really beautiful people in the room, and those watching the replay might be into more products. So thank you so much for yeah, Christina, let's keep going.
Perfect. So then we're having also, you know, the branding presence. So what I'm talking is, throughout your social media channels, through all of your websites and everything you're doing, is it aligned? Is your brand message clean? Your visual brand identity, the logos, the tone of voice, everything you use, anything that's visual, color palettes, what are you doing on Instagram? You know, is the feed elegant and neat? So they will be looking at that, because that kind of like establishes that you are a serious brand, you care about your image, you know, because those magazines are very aesthetic, right? They're beautiful. So they would definitely want somebody kind of with the same caliber of presence with gorgeous, you know, branding. So when you do that, you're kind of there. It's also easier to remember you. If you're all over the place, you're forgetful. They'll just forget about you. But if there's something about your brand that they're like, oh, that's gorgeous, or you have higher chance to get remembered, you know. And then we have something that people overlook. So this is budget to ship sample products, and for you, dear coaches, it's care packages and goodie bags, right?
Oh my gosh, this is next level. Okay, this is like lights are going off in my head. Okay, let's go in. Yes, 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 yes.
right? You're wearing many hats, as well as you're allocating a lot of budget into marketing, into creating your product, maybe service, your website, everything. But do you actually have a budget to ship a sample product or a care package? So let's say you're coaching for, let's say, health, right? And you also have an ebook to give as an example. You would want to send it all the way. Let's say you're located in UK, London, the company is in Canada. That might cost you, like a care package, over 100 euros, right? Or dollars, because it's going all the way to Canada. So you need to understand that if the magazine asks you, could you ship us products that able to cover the cost of shipping? Mind you, you would usually get whatever you're shipping, like say product, you can get it back. It's not a gift, but you can also, you're at liberty to gift something. So do you even have a budget to gift something, to give them a care package, and that goes along the way, because, you can write a thank you personal note. I mean, we're all humans. And I think if you're getting featured with something, for free, it would be a really good way to kind of establish a further on relationship just by giving them little note, care package, off we go. So
Okay, so can I ask a question just for my own clarification? So in one scenario, say that I'm a health coach and I write my first book, then I would want to send that physical book in like a nice care package with like a candle and maybe like some kind of health products that would really assist them when we've established that relationship, right? So this is like a thank you for being with me. Or could that also be like, hey, I just published my first book and you're the editor of Harper's Bazaar UK and I'm just shipping this to you? Like, are those unsolicited gifts also a good use of our time and energy?
unsolicited, no. So you definitely want to prearrange. I think it's just professional. So, it's a little bit like, what is this doing on my desk? So I would definitely say you would want to kind of advise them in advance that you would be shipping. So there is an expectation that it's not just a surprise, definitely. And also magazines can ask you for things, it doesn't mean it's a gift. So let's say, of course, it's more relevant for products. Like let's say an umbrella, they'll be like, oh, actually for Christmas, we're doing a Santa shoot and your umbrella would look great in our magazine front cover or whatever. Would you be able to send it to us, right? So that's another thing that can happen for a magazine shoot.
Amazing. Thanks for clarifying. And Elizabeth has a question. Do editors usually look through your website, socials, etc., before responding to the initial email?
Yeah, they do. They would judge, So if you manage to catch their attention with, let's say, your subject line and your beautiful presentation of your pitching, then they'll be like, ooh, who is this? And then they will definitely check you out, because remember, like when they're thinking about their customers, right? Let's say if you're in health, would it benefit their customers, their readers, because they know their readers inside and out. So they will definitely look and check you out before featuring you, just because you might have some broken links in the website. It might be even scams. People send click links with viruses. So they would definitely look at Instagram, how many followers you have, or what's the engagement rate, or things like that, just for their own understanding, if that would resonate with their readers. Does that answer your question?
Super helpful.
Yeah, perfect. And then just right beside the budget, there's also the shipment logistics. So as a brand, you kind of, as a product, you would have some sort of delivery method to the customer, right? So you'd have your DHL sorted or UPS. So you have a proper company that looks after your shipments. The same is with, whatever, when you're sending a care package, you want to use a very good, credible, not cheapest, I would say, with a tracking link shipment. Because when something arrives sloppy, like imagine it's kind of already gone through so many, from London to Canada, it looks crappy, the shipment box is ruined, it gives already the first impression, like, okay, does this person, did they send it themselves? Like, how did this happen? So UPS and DHL, let's say, more creditable delivery services, handle with care your things, so just make sure that you're delivering it in a very presentable way, with professional packages, because there's also, you need to think about customs, because if something gets sent over from UK to Europe or whatever, the people there, they will have to pay for that as well. So it needs to be clearly labeled. What is it, for who it is? If you just say Vogue Canada or whatever, people wouldn't want to pick it up because of customs. And if it's a big package, then it's like, why are we spending money on customs for this person? Who is this? So really important also to understand the shipment logistics before you send anything. And if there's customs or VAT or whatever for yourself to pay. Hopefully that makes sense as well, because it will tie up with the whole seamless press distribution experience for you and the magazine editor.
Wow, so many things that I wouldn't have thought about. Getting ready for the spotlight for press, I would not have thought about having chosen my shipment logistics. So thank you for that really practical nugget. That's super cool.
Great. Then we have our email address domain. So when you have a business and you're sending something to an editor, it's really important to have here, your name and then at yourbrand.com instead of a Gmail or Hotmail. Because if you have a website domain like, archadams.com and then it's at Gmail, first of all, it raises alarm on IT department. They'll be like, Nina, something is wrong. Like, why is this not matching the domain? Is this a scammer? Are there viruses? What if I click the link? So you're setting off a lot of dodgy vibes. So I think it's just so important to have your email address domain as yourbrand.com. And it kind of also shows that you're a legitimate business and you're serious, and it shows professionalism. So yeah, having a professional email domain will get you higher in the ranks to get into press, into get featured in a magazine. Then we have additional, this is kind of like a little extra tiny bonus. So what I mean by that is lookbook and media press kit. Apart from your press release and your beautiful images, you can send them a little lookbook, because you might not capture their attention directly going into your website, because they're just, they have thousands of emails. So if you have a little PDF attached on Google Drive with your lookbook, it kind of gives them an idea, what is this brand about? What's happening here? Emily, you have a gorgeous one when you were with Alchemy. There was a stunning lookbook of her fashion brand, what it stands for, but I'll give you some examples what I mean. So it's like kind of like a little lookbook like this. So this is a product one, you have your brand overview. So it's like a website, but PDF quick version, right? So you have your lifestyle images, right? So this is your philosophy, who you are, who your customers are, because that kind of makes them understand, do your customers align with their readers?
Okay, we can't see it quite yet, my love. Could you share, are you sharing a lookbook with us?
Sorry, yeah, let me just get into, do apologize. New share. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good. And just to interject here, Christina helped me so much with my ethical fashion company, Alchemy. So I was diving into the realm of mainstream media, and she held my hand through all these processes of getting, responses from Mary Claire and Glamour, and seeing their email addresses hit my inbox. It made me just be like, oh my gosh, is this really happening? And I was so grateful for her just calmly holding my hand. She absolutely knew exactly what she was doing. She wasn't overwhelmed like I was. So thank you, Christina, for your veteran energy. And we have a quick question from Liz. Would you encourage a PDF press kit versus a web-based one? And I'll go ahead and say both, but what do you think, Christina?
I think, well, first of all, when it's easier, I would say both. But when people are usually, I just want to say with the whole press, a lot of people they're hesitant on clicking links. in general. I just want to say that. But definitely, if you have like a link on your website with your press kit already embedded in your website, absolutely, why not? I don't see any problem with that. I would say both, Emily, you're right. And then you want to have a PDF in case somebody wants to print it out, neatly, in case somebody wants to reshare it as an attachment to somebody down the line when somebody's, if, let's say, chief editor says, okay, Alexandra, the writer of Vogue, like, you can, deal with this. You can write a nice little article with this. So here it is. So you can do it like that, but you can also include the link. Absolutely. I personally prefer having a PDF, and that's just me, because your PDF will go with all the PDF with the Google Drive images of high resolution as well. So it's kind of like a nice little folder access to have. And it's also a link that you're providing. So both are fine. Just want to say both are better.
Both are better. And also, just as an example, when anyone reaches out with a press request for you, for example, I get people asking me, hey, will you come on my podcast? And I say yes, if it feels aligned. And they're like, well, send me a photo, send me your bio, send me this. And I literally put the link to my website about page, and it feels so effortless and easy, because then I just get to show up and I guide my one-to-one clients with copywriting through this process, because you just feel so polished and pro when you have your photos and it's all ready to go. So yes. And now let's look at this lookbook.
Yeah, and I just want to say lookbook is an add-on. It's a bonus, right? Because you have your main product or yourself as a person, and then there's like a little lifestyle. What's the vibe of this brand, right? So you kind of you're having a little brand overview, your lifestyle images, your philosophy, who your customers are, because that will give them an access. Do like that's their customers. Would it match our customers? So stuff like that. You can do your little showing off of your previous talkers and being featured. All these brands. And then of course I have my products like this, because it's a product based, but I'm going to show you an example. Let me just reshare another screen of how a service based product would look like. Can you see this, girls? It's a Polo Lady magazine.
Yes.
Perfect. So I'll just go scroll a bit up. Oops. So, for example, that could be, so it's a service based, or, it's not like digital, it's a digital product. So, they also have their brand, then, a little bit about them, about testimonials. That's huge, by the way. So, that's your credibility there as a coach. You'd include testimonials, who you partner up with, and then your numbers. That's also a bit of kind of an idea, who your countries are, who your people are, regional demographics. Readership, and then, for example, you'd have your kind of access to your address, your emails, your phone. So that's kind of it in regards to an example. And then the last I'm going to show you, girls, is, let me see how I do this.
You're great with the tech. You are inspiring me.
You
are nimble and fabulous with the tech. Like, let's keep going in this awesome flow.
I actually use Google Meets. I never usually use it. So that's the lookbook. And then the last thing, and this is so overlooked, but this is so important, right? So you're a business owner and you have so many things to do at the same time. So when you're actually choosing to do yourself, right? You're not outsourcing it to a very expensive PR agency. You're a solopreneur. This is what you need: dedication, dedicated time and patience, because it takes time to get on somebody's radar, especially when you're new, So basically having time and the process to allow yourself to gather the emails. And with me, I do a workshop and consulting how to get emails really fast. So how do you build those relationships? You need time to actually write your press release, right? You need to have the time to see what angle you want to approach them from. You need to have time to email those people. You need to have time to respond to them. You need to have time to do this checklist, right? Before you even do the press release outreach. There's so many things that go in, and it's time and patience, and of course it's rewarding at the end because it's a snowball effect. Once you get into one magazine, it's just credibility upon credibility upon credibility. So that's pretty much kind of how it works with the checklist. So just to summarize, you'd have your high quality photography, your website, your about page, flawless customer journey, your branding, your budget for, shipping your sample products or care packages, goodies, shipping logistics, email address, domain, lookbook, or of course, press kit for coaches, and dedicated time and patience. So that's
Wow.
kind of where I would have the checklist. Are you ready? Because if you're not, your ranks of succeeding is a bit less than your competitors because they are bombarded with emails, and then of course there are secrets on how to rank yourself up when you do reach out to them, like what do you do? And I go through, so once you have that checklist and you feel like, okay, I am ready, then I usually take the girls that want to work with me, just to kind of give you an idea. And what happens is you get complete A to Z handheld coaching. You get templates for press release, you get email scripts and templates with exact email strategy to get their attention, even like the sequences. You're automating everything because you don't want to do one by one. You're automating, you're blasting out emails, and it doesn't look like a blast because it's going to be so personalized. And there's also a secret software where I get all my magazine editors for the niches of the clients that I have. So if you're in health, if you're in fashion, if you're in food and beverage business, hotel, travel, so there's secret ways to do it, and you can be done and dusted within 2 weeks and sending that send button. And
Wow. So people can work with you, Christina, directly as their guide to go through this special process you've developed to have
Exactly.
a luxury press experience, to outreach to people. So you help them get the email addresses, you help format the emails, format the press release. Personally, I've been through this process, everybody, and it was a game changer. I felt so supported. She held my hand and overcame resistance, overcame postponement, which, as we know, is a number one resistance gremlin, is just postponing, right?
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, I can just really vouch for this process. So, yeah, tell us more about it.
Just want to say, and Emily has helped so many people, and so like she's a copywriting magician. That is my biggest weakness, and that is something I suck at, and it's copywriting. Let me design templates, everything but copywriting, and Emily helps. So she's actually included in this process where if somebody's like me and doesn't know how to do a proper wording to get their branding on point with tone of voice, Emily's the girl. So she helps here. You can see, she has like a press release that's written for you. You'll just explain to her what your brand about. She gets to kind of get the idea by looking at your website, and she writes an incredible press release.
Thank you. I'm so excited to partner with you in this experience. It's going to be
Absolutely. Girls, also this is actually still getting launched, and it's getting launched on Monday, this website. So if anybody's interested in this or just to have a discovery call, this is my contact, just to kind of give you an idea. So this is my email, or you can also, I'll send you on the chat box. I'll just stop sharing now and send over just my Instagram, and you can just DM me there or by email.
amazing. So for those watching the replay, Christina is sharing that it's www.instagram.com and then Christina.gs.Victoria. Super easy to remember. Christina Victoria. I always say you have like a celebrity name. Tuning in from Ireland, it feels so exotic compared to this jungle Tulum, Mexico vibe that I'm in.
Well and dark there at the moment.
Wow. So we are in a wrap-up phase and welcoming your questions. Any
Yeah.
tips on building relationships with editors? Ooh, can I offer one?
Please, I'd love to hear yours.
So something that I love to do really naturally, there's like the cold and then there's the slowly warming up approach. And one is more like blasting out to the ideal people. And then my approach that I've learned over the years is really diving into your dream press in an intimate way, looking at the articles, who are they written by, looking at the editors, whose value system do you align with? And then what do? A couple of things. You follow them on Instagram. You look at their general like places where they hang out. Are they on Clubhouse? Are they on different places where you can meet up and connect with them? And then what you do is you start sending love notes from a really genuine heart place, which is basically saying like, hey, editor of like Glamour Slovenia, I loved your last piece on this specific subject. It touched my heart in this way and helped my business in this way. Thanks for what you do. So you're sending love notes, appreciation notes, and acknowledgement, those three things. And then over time, they're going to know your name, right? Because people love admiration. We're also filled with doubts, even these editors. And so love notes, yes, through email, through DMs. And Christina, chime in here. What are your thoughts?
Well, I just want to say, people are trying to slime in to get featured without appreciation. And when a person is like, wow, this person is genuinely, because there are so many, we all get these kind of salesy emails, hey there. And then it's like selling service. You're like, oh, block, delete, spam, right? But then it's like, if somebody's actually, I read your article and I think it's amazing, like what you said, it makes a huge difference in the approach. With I would say I would combine our hours, Emily, just both, because they are busy individuals at the same time, so it has to be short and sweet. You have to spoon feed them with all the information. They cannot be like, oh, I'm missing this piece of puzzle, oh, I need to go and get it, where do I go, like which web? So you are actually, because they know you're pitching, that's their job. Editors have a job, right? They are kind of scanning who's going in, who's not, who's interesting, who's not. It's just fast. So when you kind of spoon feed them with that information, they're like, okay, this is a potential candidate, and they'll respond to you. And then at the same time, that's when you do the love like note, like what Emily said, you can say, by the way, so thank you so much for, doing this, blah, blah, blah. And then suddenly you have another press release for Valentine or Christmas gifting, or you've done a new launch or new service and you want to reach out again. You can say, oh, by the way, Michael, thank you so much for the feature. I just wanted to say also, I've seen that you've done an article about top 10 best health coaches in Canada. And I thought this might be relevant because stuff like that. So that's how you build relationships afterwards. So that's how you do it. Yeah,
Absolutely genius.
love notes through email. Yeah, they would sometimes, like, I just want to say DMs, it's a little bit creepy if the person has their own personal DM. You're like, they'll be like, oh my god, how did they find me? That's a bit stalkerish. So just make sure that on their bio they do have something like editor for Vogue. You know what I mean? That's your, like, oh, I've seen on DM that on Instagram bio that you're there. So don't go for their personal email. That's a bit like, ooh, that's a bit too much. So yeah, make sure that it's kind of consented, that they have some kind of information who they are. Yeah. LinkedIn is a good one as well, by the way. LinkedIn is a good one. Yeah.
Amazing idea, LinkedIn. That would be kind of like uncharted territory for a lot of coaches. And I've been chatting with friends about it recently, about how LinkedIn is this gold mine of untapped potential for us to connect and find clients and just do our beautiful gift sharing and finding, and the reciprocity is there on LinkedIn if we know how to maneuver. So what do you think, Christina? I have a random question that came to mind. It might be relevant for others as well. Some PR consultants like yourself, they really insist that you have to start at the bottom of the pyramid. And what I mean by that is like small magazines, local magazines, niche magazines, local radio stations, local podcasts. And then you build on that credibility to go to the top of the pyramid. I see you shaking your head. No, this is amazing.
No, absolutely not. I think, your audience. First of all, when you're reaching out to press, you need to understand where's your audience, which magazines do they hang out, right? Because if your audience doesn't hang out on something like Forbes, but they love Elle magazine or Glamour, they're reading more feminine magazines. Or there are actually, let's say, health magazines. There are actually magazines that are really high end, dedicated only for health, right? There are magazines like that. So you need to find your audience first. So absolutely not. If you're an interesting person and you have a phenomenal website, you've gone through the checklist, you go big, you go hard or go home. Kind of my favorite quote is aim for the moon. If you miss, you land amongst the stars. That is like literally my favorite quote. And I think it's, so you can definitely go high. And you can also reach out to bloggers. By the way, there are some people who you can collaborate with, not just magazines, but there are people who are very influential in the blogging industry, and you can collaborate, and they can write an article about you as well, just by the way.
Love this. We are heading towards the end of our beautiful session today, our final closing 5 days to flourish challenge. Woohoo! Just really so honored, Christina, that you're with us to wrap up this powerhouse week of support and energy and revelations and connectivity.
Yeah.
Do we have any final questions for Christina? If not, I would like to take 5 minutes of your time. If it feels good, if you have to go, I totally understand. But I have a really special sauce, exciting heart nugget to share with you all. If you're ready. Yeah. Let's see, do we have any more? Oh, what an amazing 5 days. Christina, everybody giving feedback. Thank you so much. I feel it. Pew, pew, pew. So juicy. So welcome very briefly to the one and only Femme Founders. This presentation right now that you're watching is the world premiere of something I've been percolating in my heart for 7 years, because it is a business and energy clarity space for women through the tools of copywriting and human design. It took me a while to feel like I was ready to embody this and to guide this group. It's a beta round, a 10-week live group training. We're starting March 1st, and you are officially invited on this guided pilgrimage with me into more clarity, into more copywriting confidence and client magnetism. Because we've designed this, I have tuned in, and it's all about clarity, copywriting, and clients through really specific tools, but also energetics. Right? So that's why it took me a long time to feel like I was ready to guide women here, because I needed to fully test out everything, not just my own email templates, not just my human design reader, not just my guest speakers and all of their services. I needed to be clear also on the energetic side of things, that I was able to help women, guide them into their zones of genius, the soul level gifts that you were born to birth. Whatever that looks like is up to you, but I know now that I'm ready to hold the space for you to go there, and that I have recruited world-class professionals to join me. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be deep, joyful, and together. And that's one of the most special things about this experience, is that we're going to be in a very intimate setting. Only 10 to 12 women will be invited and accepted into this beta round, because we're going to be supporting each other to get stuff done. We're going to be communicating from a place of sacred service. So I'll just briefly go through what's included and the really mind-blowing price, because right now, my loves, when you work one-to-one with me for 10 to 12 weeks, it's over $6,000 US. And this experience for 10 weeks with access to me through the group chats and calls is only $777. And why this price is because I'm going to be seeking your feedback. I'm going to be relying on you and trusting you to give me clarity on what's really working for you. Is this too much information in this amount of time? Is there something you wish we dive deeper into? Right? And so because I'm going to be relying on you and your beautiful heart, your clarity and your trust, it's going to be this price just for the founders round. And so overviewing of what's included is a weekly live group training for 10 weeks. And then we have this really cool format that I'm excited about. We all log into Zoom, and we don't say anything. We are in our own bubbles together getting shiz done, right? So you are committed, you're devoted, you show up and you do your own damn thing based on what we talked about earlier in the week in our live group call. That can be stuff like writing an email sequence, writing your about page, crafting your PR pitch, whatever it is. You're going to be held accountable by these beautiful women who only want the best for you, led by me, yours truly, who has walked the path. And you have a whole vault of email templates and writing guides. You'll have personalized feedback from me. Plus, this is wild, like basically worth the price of the entire program is a personal human design reading from a living master. Dylan, the human design like maven, he's been doing it for 12 years. I have watched the recording of my own reading 3 times over the past 2 years. That's how potent and illuminating it is. This is our week 0 bonus. So essentially, if you tune in and you click, I would like to join today, week 0 begins immediately. You get me linking you up with our reader. We're going to schedule this incredible human design reading for you to learn how you make decisions, how your energy works with other people. So many beautiful insights that get to come through. You'll have a 30-minute personal strategy call with me. So I get to know your business, both from an energetic, oracular perspective, and then a really practical perspective, because I always work on both wavelengths. And then today we're talking about press, and I'm going to be sharing with you my own press kit guide, Get Seen, Get Clients. So Femme Founders is really from my heart to yours. If you're on a creative mission, you're going to get so many practical tools. I'll send this website link to all of you right now in the chat. Oops, I guess not. But the point is, here, I'll put it in the chat for us. The point is that you're invited. That's what really matters on this journey. The curriculum is incredible and crafted with so much intention. I hope you really feel that. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me on email and Instagram. Won't take any of your time, but the price is $777. Get your spot, because only 12 women are going on this sacred pilgrimage of juicy exploration. Yay! Pew, 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 pew. Wow, thank you so much for tuning into this challenge. Day 5 feels like we started in our design into our human design, and we went into energy hygiene and how to share from all of these places. We talked about branding, and now this is like the skyrocketing energy into the press. So thank you, Christina, for being with us today and for your invitation to work with you as well.
Absolutely. No, thank you, girls, for joining. Such a pleasure to meet you. If anybody has any question, and reach out, by all means, I'll be here. And no, it was a thank you again, Emily. It was lovely. Lovely to see you again, and good to see so many nice girls here.
Yes. And if you're watching the replay, just look for the links in the YouTube video caption. We're going to have Christina's contact and my contact as well. So thank you again, everyone. You're amazing. I see you. I appreciate you and cherish you. Thanks for another amazing session. Emily Bauman, over and out.